The year is 605 BC. The army of King Nebuchadnezzar breaches the walls of Jerusalem. Temples are looted, homes are burned, and the city is systematically reduced to ash. Babylon's expansion relies on more than just military occupation. They identify and isolate the most promising young men from the conquered nobility, transporting them hundreds of miles away to serve the imperial court. Among these captives is a young man named Daniel. Upon his arrival, his Hebrew heritage is immediately traded for Babylonian customs. He is immersed in a foreign language and assigned a new name, Belteshazzar. The captives are marched through the Ishtar Gate, a structure of brilliant blue brick rising 50 feet over the city. Its walls are covered in rows of fierce golden dragons and bulls, projecting a scale of wealth and military power that simply didn't exist in Jerusalem. Yet Daniel finds a line he refuses to cross. When presented with the rich royal food and wine, portions already offered to Babylonian gods, he asks for a simple diet of vegetables and water to maintain his spiritual purity. This request carries an immediate physical risk. Defying an imperial mandate is a capital offense, and the king's guards will execute him if his health appears to deteriorate compared to the other captives. After 10 days, Daniel and his friends emerge noticeably healthier than the rest. By drawing a hard boundary over his first meal, he secures a critical victory in his effort to keep his identity from being erased by the empire. Daniel's ability to interpret Nebuchadnezzar's forgotten dream elevates him to high office. The king saw a statue, a head of gold, chest of silver, belly of bronze, and legs of iron, each representing a temporary kingdom. But Nebuchadnezzar rejects this. In a massive display of ego, he builds a 90-foot idol made entirely of solid gold, attempting to mandate his own eternal supremacy. He issues a decree. The moment the royal music plays, every official must bow to the ground and worship the statue. Anyone who remains standing will be thrown alive into a blazing furnace. 3 Hebrew captives refuse to kneel. Infuriated, the king orders the furnace stoked 7 times hotter and throws them directly into the fire. But when Nebuchadnezzar looks into the inferno, he leaps to his feet. Instead of burning bodies, he sees 4 figures walking freely among the flames, completely unharmed. The execution is halted. By emerging from the fire without even the smell of smoke on their clothes, these 3 men force the most powerful ruler on earth to publicly concede a sovereignty greater than his own. Decades pass. Nebuchadnezzar's grandson, Belshazzar, inherits the throne. To project confidence while a hostile army camps outside his city, he hosts a massive feast for thousands of his lords. Belshazzar orders his servants to bring out the sacred gold and silver vessels looted decades earlier from the Jerusalem temple. He uses them as wine cups to toast his own idols, openly mocking the god of his captives. Suddenly, the celebration stops. A disembodied human hand appears, writing a cryptic message into the plaster of the palace wall. An elderly Daniel is brought in to read the words, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. He delivers a stark translation. The empire has been weighed on the scales of justice. It has been found lacking, and its days are over. Within hours, the invading Persian army diverted the Euphrates River, allowing troops to march through the dry riverbed and straight beneath Babylon's gates. By dawn, Belshazzar is dead. An empire of immense wealth and military might is wiped out overnight when measured against divine justice. The Medo-Persian Empire now dominates. Despite the regime change, Daniel's administrative skills earn him one of the highest ranks in King Darius's new government. Jealous officials look for a way to eliminate him. They manipulate King Darius into signing an irrevocable law that bans prayer to any god or man other than the king for 30 days. Daniel hears of the decree, walks directly into his home, and opens his windows toward Jerusalem. He continues his habit of kneeling in prayer 3 times a day. The trap closes. Because Medo-Persian law dictates that a king cannot reverse his own signed edict, Darius is forced to order Daniel thrown into a den of starved lions. At first light, the king rushes to the pit. A voice answers him from the darkness. Daniel explains that an angel was sent to shut the lions' mouths, and he is pulled to the surface untouched. The rigid, supposedly unbreakable legal structures of an earthly king fail entirely when they conflict with a higher spiritual reality. Toward the end of his life, an elderly Daniel has now outlived multiple emperors and watched the greatest superpowers of his era collapse. In his final years, he receives visions of chaotic beasts rising out of a stormy sea: a winged lion, a bear, a four-headed leopard, and an iron-toothed monster. Each represents the violent, temporary cycle of human civilizations fighting for dominance. But the scene shifts. Above the chaos, he sees the Ancient of Days on a throne, granting an eternal kingdom to a figure appearing as the Son of Man. Throughout his life, Daniel repeatedly demonstrates that true authority does not reside in royal palaces, golden statues, or irrevocable legal decrees. Earthly empires rise, exert their force, and inevitably turn to sand. Yet Daniel's story suggests that while kingdoms fall, a single person's conviction can remain standing long after the statues have been forgotten.